Larry is here. He's worried, he said, that I might get him into trouble. I don't know what the heck he's talking about. Hi, Larry.
Hey, Randy.
Well, the morning started off well today. The stock was up nicely, probably because you bought so much.
I told you I was a buyer at those prices.
That's right. And CERN Basher said he was buying hand over fist, and
Yeah.
Phil Beisel said that he bought, I forget how many shares he said he bought. Anyway,
And talking about Phil, Elon made a really, really nice remark about Phil's work, which I have to say is really outstanding.
it is outstanding. I'm glad you mentioned it. Either tonight at 7:45 or first thing in the morning, we have over an hour show devoted to that particular part six of the
Yeah.
Robotaxi understanding. It's a great show. It's
Yeah.
really a good show. Everybody should watch it. I haven't
Great
decided.
article, and I'm looking forward to the show.
Yeah, yeah, good. Anyway, so after being up early, I'm guessing it was partly because of all the shares you bought, but it was also partially due, I think, to the fact that the Robotaxi was going to roll out in San Francisco. And I think that caught everybody by surprise that it was happening this soon. But then the stock started kind of wavering and
Moving
coming back
sideways.
down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I suspect that might have had to do with some nonsense, well, some commentary on X about whether California might shut that down and not allow them to do this rollout in San Francisco. Did you follow any of that today, Larry?
I didn't, but
Oh.
that's classic Tesla Q activity.
So didn't you a while back, weren't you kind of looking at all the laws and the rules and the licensing requirements and all that? Do I remember that correctly, or was that somebody else?
Somebody else.
Okay, it was somebody else. Well, I did some work on it. Sawyer Merritt, obviously, he's always trying to be right on this stuff.
Yeah.
My understanding, just so everybody knows, is that they will continue. This is a continuation of what they were already doing. It will be safety drivers in the driver's seat.
Right.
It will be only friends, family, employees, and designated individuals as far as passengers. This will continue until they have enough miles, etc., in order to be able to make their application, and it'll go from there. So that is apparently the final, the final. As far as I can tell, I asked Grok. Grok went into great detail about it. I posted on X in great detail. So is that anything close to how you understand it, Larry?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I think that we have a better chance in Florida than we have in California. But it's going to move pretty quickly now. We're going to have a lot of these environments that we'll be seeing activity in.
Yeah. Okay. So as an entrepreneur, and you had a lot of employees over the years, I know that I, as an entrepreneur with fewer, but still we had over 100 employees. Sometimes you get up in the morning and you feel a slight burden that you are responsible for those paychecks, for those families. You have a certain responsibility, a heavy responsibility, but never quite like, is that true for you, Larry? I mean, did you feel
Oh,
those?
yeah, the
Okay.
responsibility is
Okay.
very heavy,
Okay.
very heavy, particularly in those days when you have a hard time understanding where you're going to get the payroll from.
That's of course the name of my biggest book. My best-selling book was When Friday Isn't Payday. And that was that was the
I
whole.
love that. I love that. Yeah.
Anyway, so but compare the burden you felt or that I might have felt with those few employees to what Elon Musk must feel, because he feels it at so many different levels, not just as employees, but he kind of has a feeling of a responsibility to the world. So he posted today, or might have been yesterday. He says, for a while, I was really getting demotivated and losing sleep over the threat of AI danger. And then I finally became fatalistic about it and said, well, even if I know that annihilation was certain, would I choose to be alive at this time or not? I said I probably would choose to be alive. And it's the most interesting thing, even if there's nothing I could do about it. So basically, a fatalistic resignation helped me to sleep at night because I was having trouble sleeping because of the AI danger. So, we don't really know, Larry, just like our employees didn't know about us. The public can't fully ever understand the mind of somebody like Elon Musk. What do you think about his admission here?
I think it's interesting you say that, but I think that I think the truth is that Elon is incredibly easy to understand because he is so transparent about his thoughts. He'll. I mean, it's impossible to get into his thought processes, but he's absolutely transparent about his feelings, hopes, wishes, desires, philosophy. You can't see the mind, how the mind works behind that. You don't see, how he gets there. And so it's like his business strategies. He comes out and tells you straight up what they are. You don't have to guess. I see a lot of people second guessing him. Oh, he didn't do this. Oh, he should have done that. Oh, he should do this. Oh, he should do that. But he's going to tell you what he's going to do, and he's going to tell you why he's going to do it, exactly why he's going to do it, and that's it. And what you see is what you get. Now, we don't have the brain power to see how he got there, other than the explanations he gives us.
Right, right.
And we can't anticipate what he's going to get to.
Right.
Until he gets there and tells us. But he's absolutely transparent. I've never seen anybody as transparent. Most CEOs will proclaim the strategy and they may even publish the process by which they got there, but it'll be all, committees and consultants, and it'll all be, by the book, not Elon.
Right.
Elon sees a future, and then he goes to make that future. So yeah, I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, I think it really is for those who invest in Elon. This kind of a statement is important in the investing equation.
Yeah,
because it is an admission that he was going through that. So that's one thing. So, okay, now we know you were going through that. We're glad you've come to a good ending on that concern, and that you're getting back to sleep again. But it's next week it could be back again. He could be back to thinking, oh my gosh.
yeah.
All you have to do is listen to a little bit of Peter Diamandis. I can never
Diamandis, yeah.
Diamandis, or the All In podcast or whatever, and they'll give you the optimism. They sound just like Randy most of the time, but then there'll be another time when they're going, but on the other hand, we could be looking at annihilation, extinction, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, annihilation, extinction is such a strange thought, to have. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's, to live in these times, and more importantly, to have somebody like Elon to follow and to understand and to follow, and to see the outcomes. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, two very incredible things are happening right at one time. The one is China is emerging in a way that the United States emerged in the late 19th century, which is quite an amazing thing. The problem is the political control is so reminiscent of, the early 20th century and the 1930s, and in Russia and in Germany.
Right.
So that's disconcerting, but nonetheless, it's pretty exciting to see just how dramatically and explosively that country's growing. And what's happening here in terms of this revolution that just a few people are bringing. I'm reading a book by the founder of Palantir.
Okay.
What an amazing book! I really should actually we should put it in the
Notes.
I mean, yeah, it's amazing. I don't even know the name. It's a long title. I can look it up actually. But I mean, he is truly extraordinary.
Well,
And
I just saw a headline that said that Palantir is now in the 20th most valuable company in the world.
I can see why, and I can understand why, because he is incredible. I mean, the book reads like, I mean, it's an amazing book. Just,
Okay.
I want to look up the title because I think it's worth.
Sure.
Let's confirm login. So let me see what the name of that title, what the title is. The Technological Republic: Hard Power, Soft Beliefs, and the Future of the West. Alexander Karp and Nicholas Zemisca.
Yeah.
Man, that book, it hit me, like in the middle of the temple, like a bullet. I mean, just exploded my brain.
I'll have to get that one, Larry. That's a pretty good recommendation. I understand there's an even better book coming out in a couple of months, something about
Yes.
AI.
Outstanding book. Yeah.
It hasn't been written yet, but man, it's a great book. All right. So Elon also said today, he said, look, extreme execution is needed, but a valuation of 20 trillion for Tesla is possible. So I have a feeling, though, that
I don't want to be that guy, but I do wish he wouldn't tweet that.
He was asked. Somebody brought
he's right. I believe he's right. I believe that's in the realm of possibility. But as chairman of the company, we have a saying in Yiddish, das passt nicht. It doesn't go. It doesn't pass.
Not right there.
It's not done. Yeah.
So speaking
but 20 trillion, it's in the realm of possibility. Now it's probably a little bit to the extreme right of the level of possibilities. But if you look at all the probabilities, it's within range.
Right. Well, speaking of big companies or big potential possibilities, what is your feeling about Tesla's stockholders taking a roughly, let's say, $5 billion stake in 𝐒𝐚𝐴I?
Okay, so I think there must be an exchange of equity. I don't think they must spend $5 billion of their cash.
Okay.
I think they must exchange equity for equity. I think 𝐒𝐴I should take a piece of Tesla, and Tesla should take a piece of 𝐒𝐴I.
Okay. All right.
I think to expend our extraordinarily valuable cash at this point is a mistake. I've been very firm on this issue from the beginning, since Gary Black has been bleating about buying back stock. I am absolutely adamant we must not touch our cash hoard.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we should issue, a certain percentage of our stock or a certain percentage of 𝐒𝐴I stock.
Okay. All right. Cool. I gave a whole list this morning, Larry, of people that had upped or reduced or stayed the same with regard to their opinion of Tesla after the earnings call, but there was a new one. There's a new one by the way, and most of them were positive. There's
very positive. Yeah.
There's a new one this afternoon. Victoria Green from G2 was just on CNBC, and she says, well, the auto company is a dumpster fire, but the tech company is very attractive. So she seems to be
But
getting.
she's wrong.
Oh, she's
And I'll
wrong.
tell you why she's wrong. It is not a dumpster fire. So growth may be, they may be treading water as far as growth is concerned right now. But if you look at every auto company in the world, there's a cycle, there's a product cycle. And Tesla's in the middle of a product cycle. And it always happens this way. But even though they're in this product cycle, the margins are still world-class. The average car price is still world-class. And so you can't call it a dumpster fire. I understand why she said that. I mean, she's just, she's stretching reality a little bit, but it's not a dumpster fire. In my view, it is very well poised for the future. And it is the underpinning for the Robotaxi business.
So let's talk about two of the products. Let's talk about Cybertruck first. Your Cybertruck just passed the United States safety requirements with the highest marks that has ever been given to a pickup truck. I think there was one other pickup that was tied. I don't remember who it was. And then also there was high praise today from somebody who had gotten their Grok in the truck. And they were saying that Grok in the truck was no latency. I mean, almost no latency at all. Really fast, really enjoyable. And I think you've had Grok in the truck for a week, right?
No, I have had Grok in my Model 3.
Oh, in your
I haven't had it in my truck, yeah.
And so what is your experience with the Grok?
I'm checking my app right now to see if it's arrived.
I see.
I'm going on this huge road trip to Florida.
Okay, to all the Florida.
Yeah, South Florida, and then Orlando, and then back, and I'm going on a big road trip. And so I really, really, really need Grok in the truck. Grok in the car is really helpful. It's really helpful, particularly if you're, thinking and you want to say, oh, well, what's this, and so on. I was listening to this Alex Karp book, and he said something which I said, no, that can't be true. I asked Grok, got the response. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Some people are commenting today that they think the Grok companion thing is going to just make Grok, that the characters are so clever, and that the responses, the way they talk to you, the personalities is so engaging. They think the young people are going to go for it like crazy. They already are, apparently. So this could be a very, very big deal.
It's not for me. I mean, I don't engage with the
You
characters.
don't want a companion. Oh, Larry.
No, I keep myself very busy. I'm good. No, but I've used Grok for some serious research.
Yeah.
I just finished this paper on the healthcare stuff. I don't know if you've even read it. It's a lot of reading.
I've read parts of it, Larry, because you sent it to me. Yeah.
Yeah. But I did the basic research, and then I used Grok on every piece of the research to clarify, to test, and then to quantify. And it was extraordinary. It's just extraordinary.
Somebody made a comment again today on X, something about Grok being, they used a teenage word, so I don't remember it. But talking about the capabilities of Grok as a doctor being.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I forget the word they used, but it was a word I would have never used. But I think it meant it was good.
You should have grokked the word, to make sure.
So I also grokked today about the Model Q question. All right. So I don't know if you and I have talked about this recently, but the Model Q question that's remaining is it a stripped down
Model Y?
I'm sorry, Model Q. Yeah. Is it a stripped down Model Y, or is it a new form factor? And for me, my experience tells me that it doesn't matter. If it's $30,000 or $35,000, it'll be a new TAM. And if it's a
Yeah.
stripped down Model Y for 30 or 35,000, that'll be fine. I mean, it's just barely, I don't see how it's going to matter in terms of the number of units sold, either of
Correct.
Q or of the old Y.
I think that's correct. I
and
do believe that's correct.
I asked Grok, and Grok agrees with us, Larry.
If Grok agrees with us, then we have to be right.
That's right. He said,
She said,
she said, oh, is Grok a she? Okay.
As whatever you want to make her.
Grok said there could be some brand damage to the premium product
Yeah.
if it's just a stripped down model, but there would be almost no difference in the eventual sales of the two products if the new one is just a lower cost. Just the fact it's a lower cost will do the job. So I'm not sure why Gary, who's supposed to be a product man, thinks that this is going to be somehow a difference in terms of the overall total sales. Yeah.
Gary is not a product man. Gary sold soap.
Okay.
Being a marketing manager for soap is like a different world. Being a product manager for a car is a different world. Being a product manager for a Tesla EV is, a high-tech product. All the rules of product management are the rules that are the product management for a tech product. Gary doesn't understand tech. He just doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm glad we finally put that to rest. It doesn't matter. It's going to sell a lot of cars. Whichever one it is, it's going to sell a lot of cars. And I think
Who
people,
cares?
and I know you don't care about cars anymore. I don't care about cars anymore. CERN doesn't care about cars anymore. I get it. I get it. But we still have to talk about it, Larry.
If you insist, this is your show. You talk about whatever you like.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. On,
Yeah.
on to the general economy.
Yeah.
Mario Knopfel says half of Americans think the economy is good. 47% of voters are calling the economy good or even excellent. This is the highest since 2021. Who was around in 2021? Who was president? See, I think it was the end of Trump, right? So,
Well, so 2021 was, the end of Trump, but remember that 2020 and 21 really have got asterisks on them.
because of COVID, right?
COVID. But if you look at Trump's actual performance,
Right.
2016 to 2018, no, 2020, wait a minute,
15.
what,
16.
16, 17. No, he must have been elected in
He was elected in 2016, started in 2017.
17, right, and 2018. Those were salad days. I mean, they were fantastic.
Yeah.
The economy responded very well.
Well,
And then once we got to, 19, we reached a peak. 2020 in March, we fell off a cliff.
yeah, I think what people might have been saying in 2021 is, hey, I've got money my credit cards are paid off. I've got money in the bank and I bought everything that I need because we got all those stimulus checks. So they would have been very happy with all of that.
Yeah, but the inflation went through the roof.
Well, yeah, but that was later. See, this is the very end of the period when it was still good. So now, but we're back to those numbers. He's back to that level. And other pollsters, though, are finding the opposite. Larry, does it shock you that some pollsters right now are finding that Trump is not doing well and that his economic numbers are not great?
Well, as I recall it, those same pollsters who are finding that Trump is not doing that great are those pollsters that told us that Kamala Harris was going to be our next president.
Right. Oh, you think some of these pollsters are getting it wrong?
Do I think? There's a high level of certainty. There's an extraordinarily high level of certainty. Come on. I mean, we know this. You only have to look at the financial numbers. The stock market says it all.
Yeah, that's
There's
right.
an extraordinarily high level of confidence in the market There's a lot of cash still on the sidelines coming into the market. Businesses are doing very well right now. There are not a lot of businesses that are still, crying uncle. There are no bankruptcies. I haven't seen a bankruptcy tick up in like a year.
Right.
So things are looking pretty good right now, I would say. I mean, inflation is on the way down. It certainly is not ticking up by any significant amount. What could be wrong?
I know. So since you mentioned inflation, 𝐒𝐦𝐚𝐲, who I always like his numbers, but not his conclusions, 𝐒𝐦𝐚𝐲 says, is CPI inflation set for another decline? The new tenant rent index fell 9.3% year over year in Q2 2025, marking its largest drop on record. And it says this follows a 2.2% year over year decline in Q1. It says this index is viewed as a leading indicator for the CPI shelter component, which makes up, of course, 30% at least of the CPI. So this could be really significant coming into maybe not the PCE next week, but maybe a month from now.
Yes, I agree. It would take, a fairly strong political bias to find something seriously wrong with the current economy. And, a lot of people are using tariffs, just like Russia. But actually, the tariff thing is going pretty good right now.
Yeah.
I admit to bias. I admit to thinking that Trump has done a really, really good job of the economy. I voted for Trump.
Yeah.
Against, if you told me 9 years ago, I would vote for Trump, I would have considered you crazy. I mean, I was so negative towards Trump. I took a $500 bet he was going to lose the 2015 election.
Sorry, Larry.
Yeah.
That one cost you. Yeah.
It cost me. But it was to a really good guy who actually, I was very pleased he got the money, and he was right and I was wrong. And, we'd had a lot of political differences, but he was right.
Well, talking now, see, we've got another good transition into Trump, because he just issued, this is hot off the press, Larry, maybe you didn't even see it yet. He just issued another executive order targeting homelessness.
I saw it.
He says,
I love it.
Treatment over housing. Now, I will tell you, Larry, that I don't know. I want to say it's got to be 8 or 10 years ago. I think it was either Utah or Idaho did a housing first approach. And when I read the articles, I want to say it was in Atlantic or something. When I read the articles about their housing first effort and how the beginnings of it were sounding, it sounded really good. But Utah, Idaho, whichever one it was, very small states, very small cities. I think it was too much of a laboratory and not a real world situation.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Go back 4 years, I think, to Miami, Florida. Okay. I haven't been to Miami since then. Well, I have actually, but I haven't checked this out. But I was in Miami for the All-In conference, I think it was 4 years ago, 4 years ago. And the mayor of Miami came to talk to us. What do you think the homeless count was, the homeless population was in Miami 5 years ago?
Whatever guess I gave you, Larry, would be, I wouldn't have even a clue.
I think he came up with a number of like 289 people.
200 total.
And he said, we know where every one of them sleeps at night.
We know.
And those were his very words.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact number, but there was around the 300. Yeah. And he said, we know where everyone sleeps.
Yeah.
And I said to him, how did you do that? I talked to him at night at the event, at the dinner event. He said, look, we have a lot of people that work with them, but we focus on housing them. We focus on getting them into a house, and we make sure the neighborhood makes sure of it.
Mm.
Now, I don't know much about social engineering. I don't know much about sociology. I don't know much about the homeless problem. All I know is that many years ago, maybe 8, 9 years, maybe more, maybe 12 years ago, I was in Vancouver, Canada. I was there for a conference or something. And I was living outside the city, and we were bussed into the city for an event. And as we were driving into the city, I saw just a whole lot of homeless people hanging around. And what we saw 12 years ago in Vancouver is exactly what came to San Francisco when we visited San Francisco 3, 4 years later. And my wife said, I'm never going back to San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a disease. The disease is not of the homeless people. The disease is the people who enable the homeless disease.
Right.
Who feed them drugs, who feed them the enabling, capability of homelessness, removing law, I mean, in 2021, in that break in the COVID pandemic, we had that early break in April, May of 2021, when we thought it was over before the next wave arrived. And there was a break. My wife and I drove to Boca Chica, and then we went to Austin. We went to see the beginnings of the whole Starbase. I think it was just dubbed Starbase at that point. Anyway, we went to Austin, and Austin was completely populated by homeless people.
Wow.
But they had an election in that year. No, they had a referendum. It was a very liberal, democratic town council, but a Republican and a Democrat got together and passed a referendum, got a referendum passed to take the homeless people off the streets, to make it illegal to camp on the streets. And it changed Austin completely. I mean, completely.
Yeah.
Homelessness is not a problem of the homeless people. It's a problem of the liberal Democrat conception of how to treat people and how to throw money away to these nonprofits. Look, we have to talk about nonprofits in this country. Look what had just happened in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
They had a concert for the homeless, which purportedly raised $100 million. There are 6,000 people became homeless. You gave the $100 million to those 6,000. I'm guessing the number is 6,000. I don't know the exact number. Everybody would have got, like $15,000, which would have made a huge impact on their lives and their ability to stay in their house or stay in that. What did they do with that $100 million? They gave it to nonprofits. They gave it to NGOs. And what did those NGOs do with it?
Frittered it away.
Pissed it away into the wind.
Right.
Sorry for that's the right, expression. They pissed it away into the wind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, to be more precise, they handed it to friends and family.
Sure.
I mean, we have to come to terms in this country with this liberal, industrial society. These people who have got hands in the pockets of the poor and taking the money out of the pockets of the poor and putting it into the pockets of their rich relatives and friends. Judges with children in NGOs.
Yeah, right.
Politicians with wives and children in NGOs, and billions of dollars going to these NGOs and the money disappearing.
Right. Yeah, well, that certainly has been exposed during this administration, and maybe we've got 4 years to figure out how to really stop it.
We have to stop it because it is destroying the fabric of the society.
Mhm.
In Canada, it's become institutional.
Right.
In the United Kingdom, it's become institutional. But we have to stop it here, because if we stop it here, we will give courage to our brothers and sisters in the United Kingdom, in Canada, in France, in Germany.
Yeah. So for those of who haven't seen this new executive order, it says the U.S. will tackle homelessness starting with rolling back rules that stop cities from relocating people off the streets. It directs AG Pam Bondi to shift focus towards rehab and recovery. Federal funds will now be prioritized for treatment. And San Diego's Jim Desmond called it a breakthrough. He says, finally, we're getting to the root cause of homelessness. Larry, you were talking about some of these cities. Of course, I live in the Los Angeles area. I've lived in Los Angeles for a very long time now, 60 something years. I used to live in Culver City. Went back and visited Culver City, which is a very rich town. So there's no homes under $1 million. I was driving down La Cienega towards Culver City, homeless everywhere, homeless on both sides in Los
I mean,
Angeles.
it's just incredible.
Wait a minute. Turn the corner and go into Culver City. No homeless
Gone.
anywhere.
Gone.
Yeah. While I was in LA, homeless everywhere. Turn the corner, no homeless. It's all about your point. It's how the city governs the situation.
Yeah, I mean, it is, you know, I the world is upside down. The world is in a state of chassis. Anyway,
There you go.
I mean, I've had my rant for the day.
All right. Well, we had a pretty interesting day on the numbers today, Larry. I will start, as always, with Tesla, which during the regular hours was up 3.52%, and it's up another 0.52 in the after hours, putting us at 317.69. So we clawed
Didn't we actually get to
323.
320? Yeah, 320. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens on Monday, but we did. I would have expected. I'm sure you expected this today, but I think it was helped along by the San Francisco news. The Dow, it just kept going up all day. The S&P just kept going up all day, just like this. So I think this would be an all-time high for the S&P at 63.88, up 0.4. NASDAQ up 0.24. That's probably also an all-time high at 21,108. And the Dow up 0.47 at almost 45,000. So everything seems to be and these are like, I don't know, the 27th S&P all-time high already this year.
Did I lose you?
I don't know. Are you hearing me?
You seem to freeze. Sorry.
Well, that's always possible. It's really hard to freeze when it's 95 degrees outside, but
So 107 is the effective temperature here.
107.
Yeah, let me see what AccuWeather is saying now. That's what it reached.
Because the humidity
it's all the way down to 103.
Because the humidity is 99%.
Yeah, it's now 6 o'clock and it's fallen from 107 to 103.
Is that the real temperature or the feels like?
No, that's the real feel. Real actual temperature is down to 92, way down.
92. Okay.
Way down. But I mean, it's going to be like this for days on end for like the next week or so.
That's pretty bad, Larry. I certainly understand. We had the Mag 7 was mixed, even in a good day. The Mag 7 was kind of all over the place. And the VIX is down.
Yeah, but we had an all-time high today for NVIDIA.
We did. Okay.
Yeah.
It came off of that, Larry. It ended up at 173.50.
Yeah.
Okay. We had the VIX under 15. So the
So here is the market telling us that the Trump tariffs versus the Trump economic policy is like ideal, optimal.
yeah,
This is an optimal situation from an economic perspective. And that's what the market's telling us.
Larry, it's I was thinking about this the other day. I haven't been able to write it down yet, but it's kind of like when we talk about Trump being an economic genius, and he's got another economic genius at his side with Bessent, but they moved so many different huge economic factors at once. So there was risk in doing that. You're not allowing any immigrants to come in. You're sending immigrants home. You're raising all these tariffs, and at the same time, you're lowering the income tax. You are you are stimulating the economy with income tax reductions, and at the same time, you're spending more money on border control. And there was just so many different things coming in from different directions, but it seems as if it's all going to come out like perfect. Goldilocks.
It won't come out perfect. There will always, there's going to be unintended consequences. There are going to be different things. But I mean, this administration has been the most successful administration in its first 6 months compared to any administration I can recall.
Yeah.
And I go back to John F. Kennedy.
And I go back to just after John F. Kennedy. Who was that guy?
The truth is, the truth is I actually go back to Eisenhower, but I really became aware, politically aware, economically aware,
right.
in the days of Kennedy.
Well, I do remember that my dad said that he wouldn't cross the street to shake Truman's hand. And I do remember the I like Ike buttons.
Yeah. I remember Ike very well.
But
I remember Ike's farewell speech.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see it on a television screen, but I read it. I read it because I was so engaged in that election.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the Checker speech again in Time magazine. I read Time magazine cover to cover. Because we didn't have television in South Africa.
Yeah, well, I remember quite a lot from that era. I do remember, of course, all the rocketry and all the things that were happening in space and whatnot. And I do remember, since I was not a JFK fan, this is one place where you and I are on completely opposite sides. I do think that he did several very, very good things, but I was not aligned politically with JFK at the time. The thing I remember best is the LP, the humorous LP that I think was called The First Family. And so I wonder how many of our audience, put it down in the comments below, if you remember the LP called The First Family, that was the comedy about JFK.
In those days, comedy was on vinyl.
Right, on vinyl, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, bonds finally came down a little, Larry, down 2.2 basis points to 4.386. Bessent and last night when we were talking about the fight between Bessent and President Trump. Apparently, it was not a very big fight. They claimed that the meeting went well.
Fight between Trump and Bessent?
I meant Powell. Powell
and Trump. Yeah. And the meeting went well. I mean, this is classic Trump, He puts on pressure and then he, makes good mates. I hope that happens with Elon as well, though.
Yeah, no kidding. So apparently he thinks Powell's going to lower the interest rates soon. He didn't say next Wednesday, but he did say soon. So right now the betting markets are in October. We'll see.
It could, he could surprise us.
Yeah, it's true.
It's possible.
Oil's down $1, natural gas flat in the for the day, but it's really getting close to $3. I don't think I've seen natural gas under $3 ever. We're at 309. That's pretty wild. And that's with the number one salesman in the world selling natural gas to all of our trading partners.
Yep. But we have a very, very hot summer.
But I'm saying it's down.
Well, a very hot summer will bring it down.
Will bring down natural gas prices because they'll pump more.
No, because there's much less demand.
There's less demand for natural gas when the
in high temperatures.
Really, I didn't know that. Okay, for natural
Well,
gas.
there's more air conditioning, so there is more electricity, but there's far less heating in the northern territories.
Oh,
and
I see. From the heat side. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Gotcha. I thank you for straightening me out on that. Gold. Do you have any idea what Gary? You've been the one that's been predicting gold. We just had $100 round trip from 333 to 433 back to 338.
we need to start talking about Bitcoin.
Oh, okay. Bitcoin. All right. That's over here. Bitcoin. It says right here that Bitcoin came down 2,000 today at 117.2. So you brought it up.
You know, this is a whole new banking industry. It's not just Bitcoin. It's obviously, you know, a lot of the other coins,
Right.
the Ethereum-based coins, which are really all about transactions. So the question is, are we seeing the rise of a new revolutionary banking industry? It's worth watching. Look, at one point it's going to pull back 50%, you know. The question is, what will the damage be in this new banking world, in this new alternate financial services world, and will it impact the underlying economy as the banking catastrophes used to do?
Yeah. I don't remember which pod I was listening to, but somebody was saying that now that Ethereum is required to be backed by US dollars.
Not Ethereum, not
Oh,
Ethereum.
coin,
No, we're talking about stable coins.
stablecoin.
Stable coins have to be backed by
Right.
something, and if they're going to be sold in the US, it has to be backed by US dollars.
Right. And so that will put pressure. They will have to buy treasuries to do that. And that should
Absolutely
help,
right, yeah.
and that should help treasuries come down.
Absolutely, and there's no question about it. And it will also put pressure on the banks because stable coins are a threat to the banking system. It is an alternative banking system.
Right. And I understand that there was some limitations still put on there's still some limitations that they put into the bill that would help the banks feel better about it.
I think what they've done is they've created an opportunity for an alternative banking system. And I think we're going to see an alternate banking system. Look, the things that worry me about not stable coins, but the thing that worries me about Bitcoin is these crazy companies that leverage up on Bitcoin, like MicroStrategy.
Right.
It really worries the hell out of me because that thing could blow up. And that blow up could affect the stable coins, could affect the whole,
Right.
you know. So anyway, we'll see. The time will tell.
Yeah. Of course, there are no pre-markets tonight, Larry. So that is the extent of our number crunching tonight. Did you have any last thoughts about Tesla? Last thoughts about the economy? Last thoughts about homeless people? You probably don't have any in the triangle, my guess would be.
We have, you know, they can be seen somewhat in the fringes, but not a great deal. Certainly in Durham, there are a few. Look, I think what we're seeing is this is clearly that we've reached the divide between the old Tesla and the new Tesla.
Right.
The fact that the stock price didn't tank because, you know, the auto company, what did that lady say? It's a dumpster fire. Despite the concept, I don't think it is, but despite the conceptual understanding that it's a dumpster fire, we've seen the stock come back fairly significantly, and by next week it could well be exceed. We see that we've reached the point that the market is beginning to understand Tesla. This is a critical moment. This is a critical moment. Now we're starting to test. Now we're starting to judge Tesla by a different measure. And that measure is, you know, the Robotaxi.
Right.
Soon we'll see the Cybercab. And that's the measure. And then, of course, there will be optimists in the background. And people are beginning to become believers.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. That's certainly everybody in the community that I've spoken to so far are been watching on X. Everybody seems to feel like this is kind of the moment. And that the thing that you said last night, Larry, at the very beginning of the show last night, is that what you saw in the meeting on Wednesday was confidence. And this became kind of the overall thing that I'm hearing from everybody. They showed confidence. That the Robotaxi is technically ready to go.
Yeah. Exciting.
All right. That's all we got then. Thank you, as always, Larry, for jumping on. And to all of you out there, it's been great talking to you.